Today, we're going to dive into EDCAPIT, an American educational platform that has a really powerful mission, helping one of the world's largest communities adapt and, really thrive through learning. Exactly. This is a project coming straight out of San Francisco, founded by Ole Podobiat, and it is already picking up some serious steam. At its core, you've got this fascinating mix of AI and a business model that's super simple, but also incredibly scalable.
And the whole story of EDCAPIT really kicks off with this number right here. We're talking about more than 280 million migrants all across the globe. Every single one of them is trying to build a new life, a lot of the time completely from scratch, which of course brings us to the big question the whole company is built around. What is the single best tool you can give someone to help them not just get by, but to actually succeed and become part of their new community?
And the answer, so often, is education. But here's the thing. For migrants, the biggest wall they hit is this huge gap in learning that's actually accessible to them.
Right.
And you got to understand, this isn't just a personal hurdle for one person. This is a massive, multi-billion-dollar problem. It has huge economic ripple effects, not just for the individuals, but for the very countries they're moving to.
And the barriers they face are really, really specific. I mean, get this. A staggering 90% of all the educational technology out there is only in English. Just think about that for a second. The big players, Coursera, Udemy, they're amazing platforms for sure, but they just weren't designed for this audience. They don't have the localized, career-specific courses in someone's native language that they need to land a job right now.
And that gap in education, it comes with a very real price tag. This number, $12,000 to $18,000, is what governments often end up spending on just one migrant in their first year on things like welfare and other services. And that cost is tied directly to one simple metric: how long it takes for that person to find a good job and start paying taxes, contributing back to the economy.
This comparison, I think, really lays out the economic opportunity perfectly. Usually, it can take 5, maybe even 7 years for a migrant to pay back that initial government support through their taxes. But EDCAPIT's whole mission is to shrink that timeline, radically. The platform is built to help turn a new resident from someone receiving welfare into a tax-paying professional in as little as 3 to 6 months. That's the powerful economic lever they're pulling.
Okay, so that's the goal. Pretty ambitious stuff. But how in the world does EDCapital actually plan to do it? Well, the solution is this purpose-built, AI-powered software platform. It was literally designed from the ground up to tackle this one very specific challenge.
So here's how it works in a nutshell. It all starts with courses that are focused on getting a career, all in the student's native language. But the secret sauce, the thing that really sets it apart, is the AI guide. That's right, it's this AI assistant that gives you personalized guidance 24/7. And what it creates is this really cool two-sided marketplace. So for students, it's education they can actually access and use. And for the course creators, it's a way to monetize their skills and get a foothold in the US and other global markets.
And I love this quote because it really captures the soul of the company. They talk about building educational capital for migrants, which is really just a powerful way of saying this isn't just about selling a few courses. No, it's about building a whole ecosystem where everybody wins. The student gets a career, the author gets paid, and the host country's economy gets stronger.
So, we've talked about the incredible social impact, which is clear, but this is also a story about a massive, massive market opportunity. Oh, absolutely. And when you look at the numbers behind that opportunity, they build a really compelling business case.
And the scale we're talking about here is just mind-blowing. The entire global edtech market is worth over $400 billion. But here's the key. It's all about the niche. Even when you focus just on the specific market for migrant education, you are still looking at a $10 billion opportunity. It's this huge, totally underserved corner of the market. And the business model itself is so beautifully simple and, most importantly, it's proven. It's a commission model, just like the one giants like Udemy use. The platform gets a 30% cut and the course authors keep the other 70%. And the real genius of that model is how it fuels growth. Since the authors are motivated to promote their own courses to their own followers, it keeps the cost of getting new customers for the platform incredibly low. The whole thing is just built to scale.
So when you put EDCAPIT side by side with its competitors, what makes it special becomes crystal clear. You've got these billion-dollar giants, Udemy and Coursera, right? But they're built for the huge mass market or for universities, and that's the whole point. Neither one of them is laser-focused on localization or using AI for personalization, especially not for migrants. That migrant-first focus is EDCAPIT's superpower. It's what sets them apart.
But look, this is way more than just a great idea on a slide deck.
The platform is already live. It's up and running right now. And it's already showing some really promising signs of what they call traction. And this is all happening before they've even taken on a big investment.
The early results are already rolling in. I mean, they've already signed up over 50 instructors. They've got 50 courses live on the platform, and their mobile apps are already available on both iOS and Android. And here's the kicker. They're already making over $1,000 a month from purely organic sales. The engine is already running. For an investor, that's the kind of signal that shows they found that perfect product-market fit.
And using that early success as a launchpad, the team has mapped out a really clear path forward. Yeah, the plan is basically to scale, and scale aggressively. The long-term vision is to become the undisputed global leader in migrant education, and on that journey, reach $1 billion valuation.
So, to make that ambitious vision a reality, the company is raising its seed round. This is all about pouring some fuel on the fire of that early growth we just saw. Exactly. So let's get into the details and look at the actual numbers behind this investment opportunity.
Okay, so here's the ask. They're raising an $800,000 seed round. It's structured on a safe note, which is pretty standard for a startup at this stage, and it's at a $10 million pre-money valuation. And it's important to note, this round is all about bringing the right strategic partners to the table, people who can help them really accelerate into that next crucial phase of growth.
And they have a really clear plan for how they'll use those funds. It's laser-focused on growth. The biggest chunk, 40%, is going straight to marketing and growing the user base. And the next biggest piece, 35%, gets plowed right back into the product. Specifically, they're going to be improving the platform and making its core AI capabilities even smarter.
Now, for any investor, the bottom line question is always about the return, right? The exit. And in this case, there are several very clear and logical paths. The most likely scenario is a strategic acquisition by one of the industry giants like a Coursera or Udemy. They would see huge value in buying access to EDCAPIT's niche market. And beyond that, a future IPO in the next 3 to 5 years is definitely a real possibility.
You know, when you step back and look at the whole picture, EDCAPIT makes such a compelling case. It's one of those rare situations where a deep social impact and a huge business opportunity are perfectly aligned. This isn't just another startup. It really is an educational bridge for millions of people. Which kind of leaves us with one last big thought-provoking question, doesn't it? Is this kind of focused, AI-driven education the real key to finally unlocking global human potential?